Hello, friends. Let us move further into the garden. The beautiful place which Andrew Marvell believes is a tranquil place, is a place where we find quiet and innocence. The poet is so wonderstruck at this heaven on earth, the garden, that he goes on to say that there is no place as beautiful as a garden. It gives relief to the body and to the mind, which we have already studied in the stanzas, in the 4 stanzas that we did earlier. Now we continue further. What wondrous life is this I lead? The poet says that when I enter the garden, I experience a wonderful life, and there is the mark of exclamation. The poet expresses his ecstasy, his extreme joy. And now we'll see why does he say that it is a wondrous life? Because ripe apples drop upon my head. He is in the garden, and the trees which are growing there, he has apples fall on his head. These apples symbolize the learning which made the great scientist give us the laws of motion. Apples were the source of a profound learning, and also the image of apples juggle before us the image of that fruit which God had created in the heavens. So it is the fruit of fulfillment, it is the fruit of awakening. And when he is in the garden, ripe apples drop upon his head. Then there is the luscious clusters of the vine, upon my mouth do crush their wine. So on top is the trees dropping their fruits. Then at a lower level are the vines, the fruits of which are crushing wine into his mouth. The fruits are hanging so low, one doesn't even have to reach high up. The fruits that are growing high up are falling by their own weight. The fruits which are close to the height of the man are as if crushing their wine. Again, something which gives us warmth. Let us think of wine as being the stimulant in cold countries. So there are vines that have vines, means tendrils, tender plants that seek support from trees. So these plants have grapes hanging on them, and the wine, they have become so overripe that they give out the smell of wine. The nectarine and curious peach into my hands themselves do reach. And then there are other fruits, the nectarine and peach. Both are from shrubs. Shrubs are medium height plants on which fruit trees grow. So the ones who cannot reach high up for the apples, ones who cannot reach high up for the grapes, have shrubs bearing the nectarine, which is a fruit, and peach. And it is as if these fruits are thrusting themselves into my hand. I don't even have to make an effort. They are at my arm's height. And stumbling on melons as I pass, and snared with flowers, I fall on grass. And then he speaks about the fruits that grow on earth. Melons. They are so heavy that they will not hang high. God has created a system that the heaviest of the fruits always grow close to the earth. So then he stumbled across the melons, and as he is walking past, he is charmed by the fragrance and the beauty of the flowers. And in this intoxication, he falls on grass. Now, in these 8 lines, what is beautiful is that Andrew Marvell creates the image of the garden from high up to the earth. It is a beautiful arc that he creates. He draws, starting from the top trees to the vines, to the shrubs, to the earth plants, and then to the flowers and to the grass. It is a charismatic image. This is the image of the garden. Whether you cast your looks high up or you cast your looks low, you will see fulfillment, beauty, and rest, which is provided by the grass. Meanwhile, so in the time that I am experiencing this ecstasy, in the moments in the garden when I am experiencing this fulfillment, the mind from pleasureless withdraws into its happiness. So the more that I look at the garden, the more that I look at the trees growing here, the vines growing here, the shrubs and the herbs growing here, and the grass growing here, my mind withdraws. After having looked at all this, I go into my own world of happiness. I withdraw. The earth stops enchanting me. The garden is the place which takes me away from the world and let me seek refuge into my own world of happiness. Which mind? मेरा दिमाग जो है वो दुनिया के सारे प्लेजर्स को कम समझता है, सब छोटे दिखने लगते हैं और मैं अपनी खुशी के अंदर प्रवेश कर जाता हूँ. कहाँ से? उस माइंड से बच जाता हूँ मैं. द माइंड, दैट ओशन वेयर ईच काइंड डज स्ट्रेट इट्स ओन रिजेम्बलेंस फाइंड. वो मस्तिष्क, वो दिमाग जो एक समुद्र है, अथाह सागर है, which is like an ocean. He compares the mind with an ocean. Now this is a conceit. He says he compares the mind in an extraordinary comparison. He compares it with the ocean and says that just as in an ocean there is resemblance. So when you look into the ocean, the water will reflect back whatever the image of whatever thing falls on it. So he says, when I look at this garden, which is so beautiful, I go to my mind, which is like an ocean, and I start feeling everything which is as beautiful and as fulfilling as the garden plants do. Yet it creates transcending these far other worlds and other seas. Andrew Marvell says, my mind then, when I am in a garden, is capable of transcending. Transcending is going higher and beyond. That means going to greater heights. My mind moves on several greater heights and it moves into other worlds and other seas, annihilating all that is made to a green thought in a green shade. Annihilating means destroying. So now my mind has no images of anything that is evil on earth. I move into the worlds which are beautiful worlds of fulfillment. And the grass is also there, which gives me rest from all the torturous images of the world. Here at the fountain's sliding foot. Now we all know that beautiful gardens also have fountains. Fountains are beautiful maybe artificially made, or naturally they wouldn't be natural. So artificially made fountains are there. So here at the fountain's sliding foot, or at some fruit tree's mossy root, casting the body's waste aside, my soul into the boughs does glide. The poet gives his position, how he sits in the garden. He is sitting at the fountain's foot. There is a beautiful fountain, and where he sits, there are some fruit trees' roots. These trees are so old that their roots have come out on earth. He is sitting, he is resting there, and in this state of rest, he casts off. Cast off means shed out, give away his body's waste. It is as if the weight of the body waste is the covering cloth. So he experiences as if he is shedding everything. He is shedding even the weight of his body, and he experiences only his soul. My soul into the boughs does glide. This is a very beautiful word, glide. Glide is a plashless, soundless motion, graceful motion. Sitting in the garden, he leaves aside the weight of the body and moves he becomes a soul and glides into the boughs. Boughs are branches. उसको लगता है कि उसका शरीर का वजन कम हो गया है और आत्मा जो है वो स्वतंत्र रूप से विचरण कर रही है. The soul is experiencing a beautiful movement among the boughs of the garden. There, like a bird, it sits and sings. Though I am sitting at the root of a tree, but my soul leaves my body and goes on a branch and sits there and sings. So this is the beauty of garden. उपवन में जाकर शरीर तो बस पता नहीं हट जाता है और आत्मा स्वतंत्र होकर इतनी अनुभूति, इतना सुंदर खुशी की एहसास होता है कि लगता है कि हम हल्के होकर किसी वृक्ष के ऊपर पक्षियों के जैसे बैठ गए. So that comparison with the birds shows that they are free from the burden, free from the weight of the earth. So his soul goes and sits like a bird. Now I would like to tell you that the poets who speak of a free body, a body free from any kind of pain, the body free from any earthly suffering, always compare the soul with a bird, because it has got flight, because it always reaches high. So he says that there, like a bird, it sits and sings, then wets and combs its silver wings. Wetting is fluttering. making a graceful movement of the wings. So when I sit there like a bird, I flutter and I comb my silver wings. My soul combs its silver wings. Excuse me. Combing means you must have seen birds pressing their wings with their beak. This is their method to extract oil upon the wings so that they become more light and more they experience more friction, which causes them to fly better. So he says that my soul sits like a bird, and then it flutters, and then it combs its silver wings until prepared for longer flight. Longer flight is, where does the soul fly? If the soul has to fly, it will fly into heaven. So he says, when I'm in the garden, I experience as if I'm just about to move into the heaven. Though there is a physical heaven around me, but I also feel that my soul is moving towards the spiritual heaven. Waves in it plumes the various light. So my soul, in the process of fluttering and in the process of combing my silver wings, several waves shine in my plumes. Plumes are feathers. I can experience that my wings, which he says in the second line of this part of the stanza, silver, which he says that my wings are silver, but when I have combed them, various lights I can perceive as being reflected on my plumes, the wings. The lines that we have read today, from that he says that it is a wondrous life. It is a beautiful life that I am leading in the garden. On top of me are the apples. Near my mouth are the vines. Near my arms are the nectarine and peaches. On the earth at my feet are the melons. And all around me are the flowers. And if I fall on grass without hurting me. And in this pleasurable state, my mind goes to find its own internal happiness. My mind, which is like an ocean and can see a resemblance everywhere. So I create other worlds and other seas. I wash out everything except green thoughts in a green shade. And he says that while my body is at the foot of a tree, at the foot of a fountain, and near a fruit tree's root, my body is left down and my soul moves into among the branches of the trees and sits like a bird and sings and wets and combs and prepares itself for a flight into the heaven. And while I am combing and preparing my silver wings for a flight, my soul radiates various lights. The stanza ends in light. This light is about the brightness. This light is about the weightlessness. I feel no weight of any burden on me, because I experience as if my soul has got separated from the burdensome body and it is gloriously doing everything that will prepare it for the ultimate flight, which it has to take. So these stanzas are about the pleasures in the garden, and these pleasures are of a kind which prepare him for the heavenly pleasures. So, from the earthly pleasures, the poet takes us to heavenly pleasures. This is all for today. We'll complete in the next stanza and the next lecture this poem. Thank you so much.